All right, here we go on a Thursday night, everybody. Welcome in. Can't wait to have you. And we got a new location with us this evening. Welcome in to Pier 6 Rooftop Bar and Restaurant. So glad to have you, everybody. It's a new location. It's a beautiful evening. It's a wonderful time to be with family, friends, and all of you. Welcome in to the United Podcast, brought to you by John Russell Hospitality. We're moving locations. We're not going to move dates. We haven't moved times. We are starting to get some other locations in from John Russell Hospitality during this podcast. And so for the month of September, we're right here with the beautiful backdrop of Lake Erie. The sun is cresting over the hill, getting ready to set in about an hour and a half time. But what better backdrop than right here for the month of September on the United Podcast. So glad to have you in. I'm Isaac Petcash. We have so many amazing guests that will be joining us in just a few minutes. We have a packed show tonight to kick off the month of September. In case you haven't been aware in the last few weeks, maybe you've been finishing up those final vacations, maybe work's getting busy for you. Gannon Athletics is well underway. We kicked off last week's show talking about the first events of the season, with football being at home. Men's water polo was on the road on the weekend. Now every fall team, with the exception of men's and women's golf, is in full swing this weekend, and a couple of teams today. So as we go throughout the show, not only are we celebrating the change of location, the month of September, getting ready for homecoming, we're also celebrating the official start fully for Golden Knights fall sports. So welcome into the program, everybody. Can't wait to have you be part of this show this evening. Make sure to follow us, Gannon Athletics, both on YouTube and Instagram. We're also streaming live tonight on X and Facebook and wherever you get your podcasts. Let's show you what we have on tap for this evening on this Thursday night to kick off the month of September. It's a packed show like we talked about. We'll have cross country coming up a little bit later in the show. Head coach Rob Aarons and student athlete Emily Bauer is going to join us. They have their first and only home meet coming up tomorrow night with their race in the park. So a lot of excitement surrounding the cross country team. Both teams really expected to make a big step forward as we move into the 2025 season. Women's soccer will be joining us, but in a taped version. Women's soccer just picked up a big win today to start their season. We'll be showing you that in just a few moments' time. But Colin Peterson, kind enough to join us earlier this week. The Gannon head coach is off to a 1-0 start, and he'll talk about the rest of the expectations for the season moving forward in our interview in just a few minutes. But we'll start in just a couple minutes' time from now with a preview of Homecoming 2025, because if you can hardly believe it, it's next week. This is crazy that we are so close to what is going to be an exciting weekend on Friday, September 12th, Saturday, September 13th, and Sunday, September 14th. Members from University Advancement will be joining us. They're going to go through all the events of what's going on and make sure that you know where you need to be for Homecoming weekend, because there is so much excitement surrounding this weekend. After this weekend, the weekend of the 12th and the 13th. So stay tuned. Lots happening tonight on our podcast, but we want to kick things off with an exciting announcement. In case you weren't on social media earlier today, we want you not just to be a part of this podcast online, we also want you to be a part of the podcast in person. Part of the reason why we're going to these different locations and showcasing what John Russell Hospitality has to offer is so that you can be a part of this show just like everybody else who's watching online. And so tonight, we're introducing a new year-long giveaway. It is arguably the biggest giveaway we've ever given in all of Gannon Athletics, and that is the Golden Ticket Giveaway. If you missed the announcement on social media, we're going to run down what this means. All this year, we are going to be offering a year-long opportunity for you to win free season tickets to all Gannon football, men's and women's basketball games in 2026-27, as well as free reserve seating for every Gannon Athletics event that year. Here's what you have to do to enter. Like we said, this is a year-long thing, so it's going to be a week-by-week basis. If you attend the United Podcast in person at the restaurant every single week where we are, so this week it's at the Pier 6 Rooftop Bar and Restaurant, and you show a proof of purchase while you're watching our podcast and while you're there, you will get a drawing to be entered in to a chance to win this golden ticket. The great thing about it is if you come every week, you get another entry. So if you make it every single week, your chances of winning that golden ticket go up and up and up and up. So, again, you have to be here in person at the restaurant. You have to show proof of purchase, be here when the podcast is going on, and you get a chance to enter yourself into that drawing. It's a massive giveaway, folks. It's one of the biggest we've ever done in the history of Gannon Athletics, and we want you to have that chance to win the golden ticket. So show up, support the podcast, be a part of what we're doing here with the United Podcast and John Russell Hospitality, and you could win free season tickets for an entire year for football, men's and women's basketball, and reserve seating for every single other athletic event on campus. Not sure what's a better deal. Show up, show out, and be a part of potential history with that golden ticket, which we will be drawing later in the year near the month of May, but never too early to get those entries in and submissions so that you can be the winner of that golden ticket. So there's our announcement to kick off the show tonight. Let's get into a couple of interviews, though, shall we, so we can get the conversations rolling. We have a lot going on as we sit here right now, but we want to start with our dish of the day and what Pier 6 Rooftop Bar and Restaurant is featuring. Do they have a great lineup of dishes here in downtown Erie? Let's showcase what our dish of the day is tonight. Our dish of the day brings the heat, quite literally. It's the firecracker shrimp, probably the most popular appetizer that they have here at Pier 6 Rooftop Bar and Restaurant. It is tremendous, just absolutely. I think it's one of those dishes that if you order once, you're going to order it again probably at the end of the meal. If you've got a spicy tooth, this is the dish for you. Just one of the most incredible dishes that you can have. You're near the water, so shrimp just fits in so well. You can get this dish tonight and every night that Pier 6 Rooftop Bar and Restaurant is open, so make sure to stop down tonight. The atmosphere alone is worth paying for, so not sure what you're doing sitting at your house. The construction, that's not an excuse either. Get down here to Pier 6, make sure to order the firecracker shrimp and be a part of the United Podcast. In just a moment, we're going to get to the homecoming festivities, and we'll have on a couple of guests with us as we get ready for that. But beforehand, we wanted to show you a fun segment that we had earlier this week. Yesterday, we had so many of our student athletes at a welcome back social where we served up some free Rita's Italian Ice, and Dr. Ewing and Dr. Iwanenko joined us for that celebration. But we put them to the test. Which one of the two has the better palate in tasting some Rita's Italian Ice flavors? Take a look.
Not have even ever known that was a flavor.
All right, that's a tough one now. Be an easy one. That's mango for sure. That's really good.
I'll say, how is it?
That's a good one.
Popular,
yeah, the mango's really good.
Oh, that's the mango?
Yes.
Oh, that's delicious. Okay, hold on to that one.
We'll keep that one for her.
That's your favorite one so far? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, let's move. I'm on a roll. I got 1 for 1. What the heck is that? It's good. It's like a berry. So is it like gold? It's not gold. No, what is it?
It is Swedish fish.
I would not have even ever known that was a flavor.
Twizzler, Swedish fish, Swedish fish. That's what I meant by goldfish.
Oh, it's the blue raspberry. You told me there was a blue raspberry.
When I can't, boy, the color really tells you what it is.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Blue raspberry.
Blue raspberry. I'm awful at this.
Cherry?
Ooh, yes.
Black cherry.
Black
cherry.
cherry.
Coconut? I'm awful at this. What is this one?
Black cherry.
Black cherry. Now I...
Not even.
Or coconut. It's very similar.
Very similar.
Exact same color, flavor.
Coconut.
Oh my gosh. You don't have to make excuses. I'm awful at this. It's like watermelon or something.
It is not. It is not.
What is? Oh, ice. It's just lemonade.
Yeah,
it's lemon.
lemon.
Lemon?
Yeah.
Lemon.
Okay.
Good.
I do like lemon or lime, so that's good.
He's a winner. He's a winner. But I like the black cherry coconut.
Not very competitive between Dr. Iwanenko and Dr. Ewing. Dr. Ewing picks up the big win in the Rita's Italian Ice contest, but thanks to both of them for being good sports and for doing that with us yesterday. They're going to be a big part of the homecoming festivities, and as we know, homecoming every year is such a big part of Gannon Athletics, and in the big scheme of things, Gannon University. So we're excited to present the Centennial Homecoming and Family Weekend. It starts Thursday, September 11th. It runs through Sunday, September 14th. Oh my goodness, there's so much to get to, so much excitement happening as we go through Homecoming Week. And no two individuals better to talk about that to us than Jill Ciccarino-Beck. She's the Director of Constituent Engagement, and Jordan Salai, the Associate Director of Annual Giving. First and foremost, thank you to both of you for being here during crazy busy weeks. I don't even want to begin to get into, but I'm going to ask you about how crazy things have been. What's this week of preparation been like for the two of you and just getting everything ready? Because I feel like you have a lot of things to prepare for on your plate right now.
Yeah, so I think for me personally, it's been a lot of communications, making sure all of our guests know where to park, what's going on with the street closures downtown, what time the events are, attire. So I've been prepping all the communications, getting that ready for next week.
Jill, this is every year homecoming is probably the biggest event that you have on campus, maybe save for a couple. But this year, with it being the Centennial, there just seems to be so many more layers to that. Would you agree, and take me through what the process has been, getting all those exciting layers together so we can celebrate 100 years of Gannon in the way we should?
If I can say, this is our Super Bowl, Isaac. It's 100 years in preparation.
It is given the games tonight, right?
Go Cowboys. 100 years in the making. We started last homecoming accepting nominations for our distinguished alumni. So those nominations come through, collected at the end of December for consideration. Kicked off in January with the opening of the Highmark, and it haven't stopped at all this year. So distinguished alumni, Heritage Society Luncheon, Block Party of the Century, which is new this year with all the thrills and chills for students and alumni and donors and sponsors, our family tailgate, which will kick off right before the football game, and a very, very special Centennial Mass this year. So it's been a whirlwind.
So let's start with go day by day maybe and highlight some of the events. And I'm going to apologize in advance because I know you have so many to get through your head. So if you don't know all of them off the top of your head, it's fine. Start with Thursday. Kicks off homecoming weekend. You have a 4-day festivity here. What can people expect heading into the weekend, starting on Thursday, then getting into Friday?
So University Advancement and Alumni Relations are moving to a new facility on West 6th Street. We're having a blessing and dedication of the new Alumni House. So that's Thursday at 4:30. Kind of a smaller affair, but the Alumni House will be open throughout the weekend for tours, especially Saturday between 2 and 5.
So that's Thursday. Then you get into Friday. What can we expect for the day before the big day, Saturday?
Of course, Friday we've got the big Night Nation golf outing, right?
Yes.
So the Beechwood Golf Course this year. Lots of fun out there on the course. At the same time, we have our Heritage Society luncheon that's happening in our Yale Ballroom, honoring the class of 1975 and all years prior. So some of our most senior alumni will come in and have a lovely lunch with us, receive their Heritage Medallion from Dr. Ivanenko, and kick off the weekend with us there.
And there you see, if you want to still be a part of the golf outing, there's still spots available. Make sure you scan that QR code. They're filling it fast, though. Admittedly, I'd be playing in that tournament if we didn't have things going on for homecoming. So make sure to take part in that from athletics, the Night Nation Invitational in honor of Bud Elwell. Then we get into Saturday. Of course, we have the homecoming football game. We have men's soccer the Friday night before, women's soccer on Saturday evening. In addition to those sporting events, there's so many things I'm sure that you can be excited for. Jill, take us through kind of what we can expect for Saturday, and Jordan as well. I don't want to put everything on you, Jill, given what we have for that Saturday of Centennial Homecoming Weekend.
Well, I'll kick it off with the Gannon Family Tailgate. We are kicking that off at 10:30 in the morning. That will be until 1 p.m. We have Connie's face paint in our kids zone. We have balloons by Nat. We have the Dove? The big RV for the makerspace. I always say it wrong. But we'll have that in our kids zone. Hot dogs, reunions. It's going to be a really, really great tailgate. So kicking that off again at 10:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. And then following that is our football game, as you mentioned, against East Stroudsburg. After the football game, we have our trolley tours from 2 to 5, stopping all around campus. So if you haven't been on campus in a while, this is a great opportunity to hop on that trolley and see some of the new buildings, maybe some you've walked through before in the past. And then after that, we have some more affinity reunions with our Yellowstone reunion, 30 years of Yellowstone. and also our block party of the century kicking off at 5 p.m.
Saturday is going to be an amazing day. It's hour after hour and hour of event. And then, Jill, we get to Sunday and the Centennial Mass. We get to that point and special guests joining us. Just so much excitement around the Sunday portion of homecoming as well, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Sunday, we are moving our Mass to St. Peter Cathedral. We have the Apostolic Nuncio for the United States, His Eminence Cardinal Christophe Pierre, who will be presiding over that Mass. So a great opportunity to have Mass with a Cardinal. We have lots of bishops from other clergy from around the tri-state area who will be joining us. So we're really excited to bring that to our constituents and to the Erie community. Everybody is welcome to attend that Sunday, 11 a.m. Mass at St. Peter. And then we're going to invite folks back to Yale Alumni Ballroom for our yearly presidential brunch with the president to kind of wrap things up and send everybody home with the save the date for next year.
So those are all the events, and of course you can go to gannon.edu if you want to see the full list and you don't remember everything that we mentioned on this podcast. But Jordan, I want to go to you for this next part because it just appears, at least to me, that the excitement over people coming back for homecoming is greater than what we've really ever seen, right? The centennial helps, but can you just take us through from an alumni perspective of just, I'm sure, the sheer volume of people that you've heard from that want to be a part of this that maybe haven't been back to campus in quite some time?
Yeah, so we are starting to receive a lot of communications. Everyone seems very excited to celebrate the centennial with us. I have gone through now 7 homecomings, and I think this is the most energy I've seen in a really long time. So really excited. Everyone's looking forward to that block party and the tailgate and all of the events that we have planned. I think this is going to be really special.
And again, with 100 years celebrating Gannon, you just have that extra layer of excitement. Jill, when you think about the vibe around campus, whether it's alumni that are going to come back, current students, student athletes, and faculty, is there that extra special touch for you that you feel that's different from previous years or years that you've been a part of this?
I hope so. We've certainly collaborated with different offices, different teams across campus this year, really hoping to drive that student engagement at the block party of the century. So pulling out all the stops, folks can look forward to some axe throwing and inflatable wipeout. We're going to have a DJ in between bands. We've got some great light ups, some light shows, free food, beverages for our students, along with our alumni and everyone, sponsors who will be there with us as well. That getting that student part is really important, so they realize that the events that we put on, that Advancement puts on, are actually for them too. Yeah. Our alumni love to spend time with students, and any time that they have an opportunity to engage, that helps our cause.
Yeah, Jill Ciccarino back and Jordan Salai joining us on the podcast talking homecoming. I was going to ask about conjuring up some stories that you've had from previous homecomings, but I do think one of the coolest things about this upcoming, or not this upcoming weekend, but the weekend after, it feels like this upcoming weekend that we have homecoming, but the storytelling and the memories and the reminiscing on everything great about Gannon, I think, is such a big part of this. How much of it for you both, once you get to the weekend and everything is done and you just start running the events, how much of it is just sitting back and listening to the memories that are shared around the campfire, around all these events? I'm sure it's going to be pretty satisfying and fun for both of you to just listen to some of these memories and stories that these former alumni and student athletes have had.
Do you want to kick it off?
I'll kick that off. So working closely with the alumni board, getting to know some of the former board members has always been special to me. So bringing them back to campus, opening this alumni house and giving them a whole new facility that we can host events and they can have a space carved out on campus is really going to give us an opportunity to continue to document some of that history and hear some of the stories. I'm fairly new to Gannon, third homecoming, just only my second year. So I do have a lot to learn and a lot of memories to make. But it's always great to have them come back and retell their stories and hear what Gannon was like, back in 1975 or 1965.
Similar for you, Jordan, I'm sure.
Yes, I always really enjoy when everyone's saying that they're having such a great time and that they're excited to return. I also really enjoy seeing my previous students. I used to work overseeing the phonathon, so seeing them come back is something that I always look forward to, and how much fun they're having and what their lives are like now, and that they can't wait for next year. So all that energy, it just feels really good after all that prepping, getting everything ready, and then just seeing it happen.
It is hard to believe that we're just a week out from the festivities. Both of you take a deep breath. You're both doing a wonderful job at getting things ready, and I know it's going to be an incredible 4 days into the weekend. Just your recommendation, maybe Jill, we'll leave you with the floor here to end this, and Jordan, you can chime in if you want. For alumni that maybe you're on the fence, they haven't been back yet before, they're not sure if they want to come back, what would be your pitch to them to say, hey, be back here for this weekend? Because I'm sure if you miss it, you're going to regret it. It's probably the theory going around all of campus.
Absolutely. This has been a year in the making, 100 years in the making. Come back to campus, see our new facilities. We have folks that haven't seen IHAC. They haven't been in Morosky. But the bookstore has a whole new vibe and a whole new look, so come out and get some Centennial gear. That's going to be disappearing soon. Really, the Mass has been the highlight, and what many people are talking about, just having that opportunity and bringing a cardinal to the Erie Diocese has been a great experience, and we want all of our alumni to experience that once in a lifetime, we're saying once in a century opportunity.
We cannot wait, and I know that both of you can't either. Again, thank you and kudos to both of you for helping prepare for such an amazing weekend. It's not here yet, but I already know it's going to be a blast. So make sure to enjoy it, and we can't wait to experience homecoming next week. Thank you to both for coming on the podcast, too.
Thank you for having
us.
Jill
Chicarino back, Jordan Salai joining us on the United Podcast. We're going to let them go so they can get the final touches on this. But can't wait. Homecoming coming up, the Centennial Homecoming, going to be from September 11th to September 14th. And, of course, just so much excitement as we get into the homecoming festivities. So thank you to both of you. And we'll continue along here in the United Podcast as we let them go and do their thing. Once again, everything happening from the 11th through the 14th, just things that you can be excited for. And as we continue to roll along here in our podcast, make sure that if you have any questions on the homecoming festivities or thing of that nature, that you can go to gannon.edu. We'll also have some information on our athletic website, as well as ways that you can get involved with the homecoming festivities as well. Well, as we continue on throughout our United Podcast, we do want to make a mention again of the golden ticket giveaway that we are doing throughout the entire year. This golden ticket giveaway is something that we have really never done before, and it's something that we're so excited to be able to show a part in this United Podcast season. Once again, this golden ticket giveaway is just such a difference maker when it comes to Gannon Athletics. If you're a fan, you want to be a part of this. So if you come to the United Podcast every single week, you will be entered one ballot per week into a drawing at the end of the year to win free season tickets for basketball and football for 2026 and 2027, plus reserve seating to every Gannon athletic event in the 2026-2027 year. This is just something that is our thank you to you in advance for being a part of the United Podcast. Ways that you can enter, it's very simple. Come to the United Podcast in person, live each week, show proof of purchase, and you'll get that entry into the proverbial hat so that you can have that opportunity to win what would be just an amazing, amazing prize. That prize, of course, being free season tickets for an entire season for 2026 and 2027. All right, let's continue along with our United Podcast and show you some of the results that we had from earlier today. Starting with women's soccer, they're off to a 1-0 start with a 3-0 victory over Charleston earlier this afternoon. Brooklyn Respecki scored the first goal of the season for the Golden Knights, and Gannon just dominated from there, shooting Charleston 25-5 in the game, including 11 shots on target. Morgan Synan making 8 saves in the game for the Golden Knights in the victory. So GU women's soccer moving to 1-0 on the young season. Men's soccer, as it stands right now in the final moments, are tied 3-3 with Lake Erie College on the road. So we'll try to give you the result of that game once it does indeed go final, but we'll make sure to give you some updates as we roll along. Of course, so many other sports that are going to be a part of the fall start of the season coming up this weekend. Let's go ahead and show you what you can expect for what's on tap this upcoming weekend for Gannon Athletics. Of course, we've mentioned women's and men's soccer beginning the season tonight on the road. They'll, of course, continue throughout the weekend with more games as well. How about volleyball? They're en route to the New York City area as we speak for the opening Roar tournament. They'll have 4 games over the weekend, starting tomorrow at 2 p.m. in Garden City, New York, when they'll face the defending national champion Lynn in their first game of the season. Not really a tougher opponent for Coach Matt Darling and the Golden Knights to face than that Lynn squad that took home the national championship a year ago. So, big test for Gannon early in the year. See if they can come away with a couple of big wins. Cross Country, who we'll be speaking to in a little bit of time here on this UKnighted podcast, they'll be with us for the race in the park. That is coming up tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. at Pleasant Ridge Park in Fairview. We'll have more details in a few minutes on how you can attend. It'll also be Senior Day for the Golden Knights. They'll recognize a half dozen seniors ahead of that home tilt. Moving up on our What's on Tap, not to forget golf. They are the one fall team that does not compete this weekend, but they are back in action starting on Monday and Tuesday at the UC Invitational. That's all day for the men's and women's team. So Scott Stano gets ready to defend his women's PSAC championship in the spring with a good fall season, and the men's PSAC championship, which takes place in the fall, they'll look to defend that title as well. Football back in action as well after a tough loss to Davenport, but a very proficient game from the offense. They'll take on Saginaw Valley State, another GLIAC opponent coming up on Saturday. That's a 2 o'clock kick for the Golden Knights as they seek their first win of the football season. All right, we mentioned men's soccer currently in action now. We'll get you a final once we do indeed get that final score. But earlier this week, we had a chance to sit down with head coach Billy Colton and a couple of the student athletes that will lead the Golden Knights into contention for the 2025 season. Here's a look at some preseason interviews from Gannon men's soccer.
Our conference schedule's tough, and that's what we want. If you look, we haven't won the PSAC yet, so the 4 times we've qualified for the national tournament in the last 5 years has all been based off our record and our strength of schedule. We want to challenge ourselves, we want to play against the best teams, and that's what we try to do. We've only got 7 home games out of 17, which is just the way the conference, just the way the schedule fell this year. That's going to be tough. There's a lot of miles, but hopefully by having a tough out-of-conference schedule and a tough in-conference schedule, them teams are going to be good this year. That'll help set us up for the goals that we want to achieve. If we do the right things often enough, good things happen. We need to have good habits. We need to hold each other accountable. We need to have good leadership because, like we said, we've got 7 new players. So that leadership, them seniors, juniors, they have to show the way for the freshmen when they fall out of line a little bit or they're not meeting our standards. They need to be told and they need to come up to our standards. And then, you know, when it comes down to it as well, at times you need a little bit of luck. I think you create your own luck with your habits, but you always need that little bit of luck that I think we were missing a little bit in that conference final and that NCAA game last year.
It's about consistency, really. We have to be on top of our game for 4 or 5 months, and we can't reach a level beneath that for 1 second. And also, especially our defensive game, especially our set pieces, and where other teams might hurt us, that's where we have to improve our game. We have only one goal, it's to win the PSAC playoffs. That's all in our mind right now. We want that ring. We have worked for it for so long, and this is time to get it.
This year we have like a lot of new faces, but of course that all of our roster is in a very good level, and our expectations for this season is very high. Win PSAC, go for nationals. So we are hoping like to do such a very good season this year.
So men's soccer kicking off their season today, and as the interviews were taking place, the game just went final. Gannon drawing this afternoon with Lake Erie College 3-3. 3 different goal scorers for the Golden Knights, including Sverre Orton, who you just heard from a few moments ago. Shota Toyama, the senior, with a goal as well for the Golden Knights. He was the first goal scorer of the game. And freshman Enzo Recca with a goal for GU in their first game of the season. So a lot of offense for head coach Billy Colton and the Golden Knights. They'll start their season with a draw to begin their 2025 campaign. So more to come from them as we hit the weekend. And as we mentioned, both the men's and women's soccer programs are home on homecoming weekend. Men will be on Friday night. Women will be Saturday after the football contest against East Stroudsburg. Speaking of women's soccer, if you literally just joined our podcast, they're 1-0 to start the season with a 3-0 victory over Charleston in their first game of the season. They really dominated the game offensively. Brooklyn Respecki, a big part of that. 25-5 for the shots on goal, including 11 shots on target for the Golden Knights. So Colin Peterson and his squad are 1-0 to start the season. But earlier we had a chance to talk with the head coach of the Golden Knight women's soccer team, Colin Peterson. He's been doing this for a long time, and he loves every single moment. The expectations for this season, how they can capture that elusive PSAC championship, and more in our preseason interview with Coach Peterson. All right, by the time this airs, Game 1 is in the books for the women's soccer team, but still many more to go after this. Colin Peterson, another exciting season ahead in which you're looking to make another run in the NCAA, but let's start with this. It is amazing when you look at all the success this team has had, and yet you're still chasing that elusive PSAC championship. Is that goal number 1 in the books for this season?
Yeah, I mean, it always is, right? But, you know, I mean, we've come close, and, you know, it just hasn't been our day on the day. You know, so, yeah, it's absolutely on the books, and we definitely want to win a championship at least. You know, we got next few years, we've got a good opportunity to do that. So, you know, with the team that we have, I think we can definitely push for one this year. So.
When you look at the beginning of the season, it is a grind. As we know, you have multiple games a week. You have to go on the road for the first few. How do you set the expectations early in the season? Just what are you looking for in the first few games every single year with the different teams you have?
Yeah. Well, you know, we kind of set the expectations, you know, in the spring. So we've been working towards it since the spring, and you know, and I think the incoming players have acclimated really well, and you know, they've bought into it, and I think that's going to help us out too. But yeah, you know, every year it's always going to be, you know, more difficult. We've always got to expect teams to get better and better. You know, just like us, we try to get better every year. So I'm expecting a tough season, but I think the girls are up to it.
But you told me you were impressed in preseason, right? You said, I think this was the best year of the training and the testing results that you've ever had. It seemed like you've been very impressed with the way that the team has been able to come into the season really ready to go, as opposed to needing an extra week or two to train them up.
Right. I mean, there's a number of the girls played during the summer, so that, you know, that helps them just to maintain that match fitness level. But you know, the players that have come in, the incoming players have all done well, you know, in terms of the fitness side of things. You know, so for me, that at least, you know, you can get going much earlier, you know, so you don't have to spend your time trying to get these kids in shape. And I think that is a testament to the kids. And I think, you know, you're talking about goals and setting expectations. I think they are, during the summer, they kept each other, you know, accountable, and I think it showed when they came in for preseason.
So let's go from back to front in terms of what your lineup could look like game by game during this season. Obviously, you mentioned you have a couple of goaltenders that you think could really be big this year, but you get Morgan back. We had a mic'd up segment with her last week. We know her voice is enough to keep the team energized in every single game. How important is it to have her back there kind of leading the way, not just from a goaltending perspective, I'm sure, but from an entire team perspective?
Yeah. We have. I mean, all of our goalkeepers have impressed. You know, obviously Morgan brings a lot of experience to the game, and you know, but I think she's going to be pushed all season long from what we are seeing in practices. I think Bex has done an unbelievable job with the goalkeepers. So I'm expecting a lot of competition. You know, and obviously, you know, just like Morgan, you know, for the first 2-3 years, Morgan, you know, didn't really see a lot of playing time, and she kind of, she had to bide her time, and I think she brings a lot of that. So our incoming keepers can also learn a lot from her. So you know, and it's more so on the, you know, experience side of things. So, you know, she knows how to run her defensive line, and I think that's going to be, because they're all technically very good goalkeepers. You know, it's more on the communication side of things and organizational side of things that they can learn a lot from her. Speaking of the back line, you have a lot of returning experience as well, right? Victoria Wheeler comes back in the middle. You have plenty of others that are experienced too. Take me through how good that defense can be based on what you've seen from previous years. Yeah. I mean, you know, last year, as good as Hannah was, she wasn't 100%. And I can kind of see, you know, this year, I think we're going to get a lot more out of her. And, you know, we're talking about defense, but I think offensively, our backline, provides so much offense for us, right. and they're the start of everything, So defensively, we had quite a few clean sheets last year, and I don't think we were 100%, So I'm hoping that we can, do better than we did last year. But we have terrific kids in the back line, and you're right, we do have a lot of experience. So I'm hoping that was going to, that's going to also kind of permeate into, the incoming players, because we do have some depth when it comes to the defensive side of things.
And then we get to the offense, and where the heck do you start? I mean, you have so many student athletes. You could talk about Brooklyn Respecki, Grace Emanuel, of course, Jessie Watkins in the breakout year. She had Ella Fadale, who goes unrecognized. And, oh, by the way, Olivia Dixon, a former Cathedral prep great, she comes in. How do you manage that rotation and that lineup with so many strikers that can find the back of the net?
Yeah, I actually said this to the girls, during preseason. It just seems like the only goals we score are spectacular goals, and that can't happen. So right. we've got to score the scrappy goals too, mm-hmm. and so I mean, I think in terms of improvement, that's where we can improve. Mm-hmm. Those getting a toe on the ball, the deflecting, those are the kind of goals that we need to be scoring. But yeah, it's fun to watch, and it's fun to, every day I see it in practice. And I think just with our philosophy, our coaching philosophy, and the way that our coaches are, projecting that and trying to get it through to mm-hmm. To the players, there's not a lot of motivation that we need when it goes forward. There's a lot of kids that are, that are technically very good, skillful, very good, and so it's just a matter of trying to harness that and trying to put some in the back of the net.
Let's talk about the early part of your season. Of course, the PSAC slate's always going to be difficult. You start with a couple on the road. You've got a couple of tough games early as well. We know Adelphi is going to be on the schedule early. You get a couple of early PSAC matchups in your first home games on homecoming. How can these first few games, let's say 4, 5, 6, really kind of test and determine what we can see moving forward going into the conference?
Yeah, it does. Right off the bat, the first two games are mm-hmm. regional games that have a big impact. And the year before last, we lost the game and tied a game. And last year we won both those games. And the year before last, it just seemed like we were chasing all season long. Mm-hmm. Last year we had those 2 wins out of our belt, and so that helped us out regionally. Obviously, every game is a difficult game, but if we can get on the front foot, obviously that's a lot better.
There's so many student athletes we just talked about that are going to be returners that you can expect to have great years because you've seen them before. Who's one that we don't talk about, or his name's not going to appear in stories, that you think could be a really big player that will be a big part of this team this year, who really no one's looking at the moment? I
thought Vic Wheeler was really underrated last year. We played her out of position, and she played in she's actually a midfielder. She mm-hmm. played in the back, and you were talking about that back line. In the spring we played against Duquesne, and I thought she was absolutely brilliant against Duquesne. And we put her into the midfield there. So that's her natural position. Whether she plays there or not, we're not 100% sure yet. But I think, with Ella Fadal too, she last year, she was a little bit on the, also on the, what's the word that I'm looking for? A little underrated, mm-hmm. And I think just with the way that she's come in, I think that she's also going to be a player to watch.
What about this part of year is so exciting for you as a coach? Of course, you start games, but you keep coming back year in, year out. You and Leah have built up this program so much. You add Beckson. She's done so well with the goaltenders. How exciting for you? Where do you put this day, opening day, on your list of favorite days of the year?
Yeah, I mean, we live and breathe this stuff. So every, we're already chomping at the bit, at the end of May. We're like, come on. So for us, every season is special. Mm-hmm. Even the years where we struggled, I think that, it was, and we're fortunate now that we've built the program to where it is, but it wasn't always like that. And even saying that, the players that were here when we were struggling, we built this program on their shoulders. So every day for us, and I'm just fortunate that I've coached soccer for a living, and I'm even more fortunate that it's a family thing. There's not a lot of people that can say that we, that the wife is the assistant coach, and it's and we again, we argue, we have fun, so for us every day and every season is a blessing.
Women's soccer 1-0 to begin the season as they try to continue their stretch. They've got a game coming up this weekend against Concord. That'll be another tough challenge for Colin Peterson and the Golden Knights, but they're 1-0 to begin the season. 1-0 is better than 0-1. Here's the final box score infographic from the men's soccer game in a 3-3 draw. You see there the goal scorers, including Svera Orton, who had the go-ahead goal with a few minutes left to go in the game. Golden Knights yielding the tying goal with less than 3 minutes left in the game. They did dominate in shots, 19-14, 8 of them on target, 3 saves for Gannon tonight, and again the goals even at 3-3. You see their next game coming up 3 days from now. They'll travel to Eiler Martin Stadium for a conference matchup with East Stroudsburg, albeit the East versus the Western Division. So excited for that matchup. Should be exciting to get to see how the men's soccer team responds from their draw earlier this afternoon. Speaking of sports that are in action this weekend, we've been talking about cross country. They're the lone home event of the weekend. Rob Aarons and his squad getting ready to head over to Pleasant Ridge Park about 23 hours from now. They'll celebrate Senior Day, and they'll also get ready for the race in the park in Fairview, Pennsylvania, welcoming in a myriad of teams with them, including Cal PA and Mercyhurst, for what will be an exciting race down in Fairview. Make sure to join us for that. But, a lot of us, including myself, probably haven't gotten to see the course. Maybe you've been to the park. I know I take my kids there to the playground, but you don't always get a chance to see the behind the scenes of what it's like to be part of a team. And for the cross-country team, we put them to that behind-the-scenes test earlier this week. Senior Luke Andreso, who will be honored tomorrow, took a GoPro around the course with us to show us just exactly what it's like being a part of a run every single day with the team. Take a look. Really cool segment to showcase the start of our cross-country segment.
Luke from the men's cross-country team. Today I'm going to show you the course. Come run with me. It's recording.
Oh my gosh. Bro's mic'd up. Oh, you can see yourself. That was it. Yo, that's sick.
So we're out here at Pleasant Ridge. Normally the start line is down there by the road. You kind of come up here, kind of run straight out where I'm looking at, and then we...
Captain Luke with fancy technology.
That's me. And then we start going in the woods. This is my personal... I already took the wrong turn. The guy with the camera took the wrong turn. We got a tight corner up here. I'm giving great commentary right now.
I like it that you gotta get up front and then turn around and hold it. What's up, guys? It's Luke Andreso over here.
What's your favorite part of this course, Luke Molina?
My favorite part of this course? Gotta be the roller coaster. That's what we call the biggest hill.
Would you say this is the roller coaster coming up right here?
No. Cheers. Favorite part of the course? The finish line.
That's over there. And then up here is probably one of the better spots for spectators. Kind of opens up here on the left and the right. What's the history fact of the day?
Erie County was founded in 1800 from parts of Allegheny County. So at one point, Pittsburgh got to tell Erie what to do.
And then once we're back in the woods here, this is kind of like not the hub, but we kind of go in circles up back here. The best part about cross country is only being able to see 2 feet in front of you when there's roots and gravel everywhere.
At least you get to look above everybody.
Okay, so now we're gonna go do some dynamic stretches. I don't know if I'm keeping the GoPro for that, but I gotta change in my spikes. We'll see you here September 5th for the race in the park here at Pleasant Ridge.
Tomorrow, and it is Senior Day. It's the lone home meet of the season for the Gannon Golden Knights, and tonight we're very excited to bring on head coach Rob Aarons along with sophomore Emily Bowers to the show in what will be a very exciting first and only home event in 2025. Coach, let's start with this. It's anytime you start the season, there's that level of anticipation, level of excitement. Take me through what you're looking forward to this year as you get ready for two teams that you mentioned in our preseason interview is going to take a big step forward this year, you believe.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to, first of all, tomorrow getting, everybody out on the course and getting in our first race of the year. It's kind of shaking that rust off, getting back into race mode and getting back in that mentality. I think that it's very different than a workout or anything else like that. So, that's kind of step number one. And then from there, it's just building towards those championship races at the end of the season. Those are, what we're training all summer and fall for. So seeing that progress throughout the year and, just seeing how far we can go. So.
What makes it different, Emily, from preseason to in-season? Because I don't know, I'm not a runner, clearly, but it feels like you run more in practice than you do in races. What is the difference between putting on the racing shoes and just running for practice? What's that? Is there any tangible difference to it at all?
Yeah, definitely. When we're practicing, we definitely put in a lot more miles. We're really just trying to build that base, build that endurance so that when we step onto the course and put those spikes on, we have the confidence that we can go out there and really do our best. So all of those miles we put in is really just establishing that really strong, firm base for us so that when we go out there, we feel super confident that we can race and do our best and put forth all of our efforts. So a lot of our practices are structured in ways that we're practicing that race pace, but we're also building a more solid base so that we can hold that race pace for the whole entire race. Yeah.
Let's talk about the season, Coach, in both teams in general. We'll start with the women's team with Emily being here. You told me in the preseason interview you think they're going to take a massive step forward this year, and it seems clearly that you have the team to do it. When you say step forward, what does that look like for the team this year as you kick off your season tomorrow?
So, I think first of all, it would be about using, our results throughout the season or kind of what we're seeing early in the season to really refine those goals that we're looking for towards the end of the season, and then building confidence. Seeing if we want to take a big step forward, like part of that is believing that we belong there. And so I believe that we belong there, and so. Helping our runners kind of see that and have them take some confidence from that, so that when we go into the championship season, that they can bring that belief and know that they belong there.
Emily, maybe it's odd to call you a veteran going into just your sophomore year, but you are one of those runners that will be, I'm sure, leaned on this season. What's your message to some of the younger student athletes and others around the team so that you can take that lead forward this year for the women's side?
I think I would really encourage them to just have confidence in the training we've been doing. I know a lot of them have put in some really hard work over the summer. Coach has been making awesome training plans for us so that when we go into the season, we're prepared. It's a jump up in distance from high school, so that can be super intimidating, especially for the men. They take a little bit of a bigger leap. But they've been training really hard. We've seen it in practice as returners. We've got a lot of really ambitious new athletes here. So I would just encourage them to have confidence going into this race that they've done everything to prepare and they're ready for it.
Meanwhile, on the men's side, Coach, you have a lot of returners from last year. We just heard from Luke, the two Lukes between Andreso and Molina, and you also get a transfer from the PSAC to help add to your team. Take me through the men's side and what you can expect this season from them.
Yeah, I think from the men's side of things, coming off a very strong year last year, tying our program high finish there, and returning the majority of the runners from that team. We're looking to continue to move up. So. But obviously, the higher up you get, the harder it is to continue to move up, right? So I think we are looking for some continued improvement, but we're going to need kind of more and more of that as we go to continue to reach those top 4, 3, 2, and hopefully eventually number 1. That's where our long-term goal is. So yeah.
You can laugh at me. I thought about this joke for a while.
Okay.
This season is a sprint, literally, even though sprinting is not what you do. You've got 6 meets and PSAC championships hit you in the face. What is the key to getting where you want to be quickly? Because it is one of the shorter seasons in fall. How do you ramp up so quickly, get to that spot where, come October, you feel like you're right there for PSAC championships?
I mean, I would say, really it's kind of about approaching each race, with a mentality of kind of what our strategy is, or what we're looking to, how we're looking to approach that race, what we're looking to get out of it. So there might be certain things that in each race we might be focusing on, emphasizing, and kind of putting those pieces together so that, in a sense, those races are practices for the conference championship, the regional championship, and things like that. And then, as we get down towards the end of the season, I think what really has helped us historically is tailoring our training or setting up a taper where we're really feeling our best, at that time of the year. Whereas right now, we've been doing a lot of running, a lot of training, and everybody's legs are probably still pretty tired. So, but we want to be fresher at the end of the season.
Emily, from your experience last year, was there a race or a date or a point in the season where you felt like you needed to be at your best so that come championship time, you were fully ready to go?
We definitely have our eyes on those couple of meets before we enter championship season. Those are really the meets where we want to start performing our best and really showing up so that when we do enter championship season, we're really set up. We have our race strategy down. We feel confident going into those races. So the first couple of races are really learning processes, especially being my first year last year. But as we move into those races closer to conference, the last one or two, it's really when you want to start feeling confident about your race strategy so that when you go out there, you know what to do.
It's so fascinating. Every student athlete has a story of how you got into the sport that you were a part of. And the going phrase that everyone talks about is, well, I'm just not a runner. I don't like running. I'd rather walk than run. Emily, take me back to when you first started getting interested in the sport of cross country, maybe other things that you did that piqued your interest. What made you want to be a part of this sport and ultimately this program?
Yeah, let me tell you, before I started, I would have said the same thing. Running was not my thing. I was a dancer growing up. Yeah. I loved that. And I wanted something to do in the fall just to kind of keep me in shape. I had a cousin who ran marathons, and I was always really inspired by her. She was my inspiration getting into running, and we had a program called Girls on the Run, which a lot of people know of, and I said, I want to run a 5K with her, and I want to be in shape for dance. So I decided to do Girls on the Run, and I got to run that 5K with her, and after I did that, I decided, okay, maybe I like this a little more than I thought. Maybe I have goals and things I want to accomplish, and maybe I'm not quite done here. Yeah. And that's when I started to get into cross country and just kind of took off from there.
But there's got to be a certain piece to being out on the course, with yourself in sorts, because you have the team around you. But I'm sure there is a level of calmness and peace that you feel that maybe you don't get from other sports where it's so compact and the physicality makes it difficult to live in the moment. Do you get to live in the moment when you're running out there?
I would say so, yeah. It's really nice because it is both an individual and a team sport. I've really appreciated the community it's brought me. Running community is something that's incomparable in my opinion. But I also really appreciate that there's individual aspects of it too, setting those goals, setting your focus on those goals, and then really putting that into practice and going after that in our meets. It definitely is a really great balance in my opinion.
Coach, let's talk about Race in the Park tomorrow. Pleasant Ridge Park in Fairview, a beautiful course, great location, weather looking wonderful with maybe a bit of wind. Let's talk about the course and the competition in general. You have a couple of teams coming in. You host this jointly with Mercyhurst. What's the outlook for tomorrow and what you're hoping to see from your team in your lone home meet tomorrow night?
Yeah, so our big strategy going into tomorrow is trying to establish kind of some pack running in our team. So we have some groups set up where everybody's going to start with, at least one of their teammates and kind of try to set that precedent going forward. That is really beneficial going into races, to have teammates to run with and to push you and things like that. So we're going to start off in some groups there, and then kind of second half of the race, second part of the race, kind of do their own thing from there, So so that is, I think, going to lead to some success for us down the road, but also I think tomorrow, for them to be able to have each other, push each other through the race and stay connected throughout the race, I think will be really beneficial.
And the celebration of your half dozen seniors after the two races for the men and for the women, I'm sure a lot of excitement around that opportunity to recognize them tomorrow?
Oh yeah. So this is my 4th year at Gannon. So they were freshmen when I came in. So that's always kind of a special thing to see. The first group of students that that I knew as freshmen. Come through and graduate. So we're really looking forward to that. It's been awesome 4 years, I think, for all of us. To be together. So yeah, really looking forward to honoring and celebrating them for sure.
Emily, as a student athlete, what's the best part about this year? Today, literally the day where most of the sports begin. Of course, you're tomorrow. What about this time of year is just different maybe than the rest for a fall sports student athlete?
I think there's just a lot of excitement in the air, really. The anticipation of a new season, new team. I mean, this is what we've been preparing for. We start our preparation really in the summer, even in the spring, thinking about those goals we have in the fall. And now that it's finally here and we know we've put in the work, it's really exciting to get to put that into the race and see how it goes, for sure.
We cannot wait. Tomorrow's going to be a wonderful night. Make sure to stop out. It's just a short drive from campus, 20 minutes to Pleasant Ridge Park in Fairview. 5:30 begins the race in the park, senior day festivities to follow. Rob, Emily, we sincerely appreciate you coming on. Can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. Race well. Let's hope the weather cooperates as well for tomorrow night.
Thank you so much. We're excited.
And that is cross country. They are going to be, again, at home for what will be the first and only time this season as we look at what's on tap for this weekend. Cross country, the lone home event of the entire weekend for Gannon Athletics. That'll be tomorrow evening, 5:30 again. Senior night should get underway a little prior to 7 o'clock, so make sure to stay tuned for that as we roll along throughout the evening. Football on the road Saturday, men's and women's soccer continuing their early season road trips on over the weekend on Saturday and Sunday. Volleyball with the opening Roar tournament. They've got 4 games this weekend in Garden City, New York. They'll begin with Lynn tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Of course, cross country in the race in the park in what is sure to be a great night for so many student athletes, including those seniors who will be a part of the Golden Knight program forever and will be recognized as such tomorrow night. All right, before we let you go on our United podcast, we've had a couple of fun segments to show you, but as many of you know, in about an hour and a half, the National Football League season kicks off. And we have a lot of student athletes who are football fanatics, no question, even if they're not part of the football team. So at our student athlete welcome back event yesterday, we wanted to ask him who's winning the Super Bowl this year. Did many people talk about the local products and Bills and Browns and Steelers, or did they go a different direction? Well, we got a bit of a myriad of everything. Take a look. Who's winning the Super Bowl this year for our student athletes?
Cleveland Browns.
I really think the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl this year. They got the best team. Lamar, he motivated.
Who they, baby? The Bengals.
You believe in the defense?
We don't need to. We got Joe Burrow.
The Green Bay Packers. Micah Parsons is in town.
Go Pack Go, baby.
Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles.
The Eagles.
I get back-to-back?
Yep.
Yes,
Philly.
yes.
Same thing?
Fly Birds.
Los Angeles Chargers. Past football players. I know that LaDainian Tomlinson will probably be in attendance at that game, so I was a big fan, so they got him on their side.
The Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Really?
Nah, take that back. Take that back. Detroit Lions. Personally, I like the Lions. Hot take.
I don't watch football, but
Zoe, do you watch
the Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
Okay, wait, hold on. The Buffalo Bills, only because the twins on the team, they made me a Bills, like an honorary Bills fan, so Bills.
The Bills! Come on now, that's not even a question.
Bills.
I hope the Ravens do make it, but I probably might have to go with my top 3 is Ravens, Bills, or the Chiefs.
Buffalo Bills by a billion. Bills by a billion.
The Bills.
The Bills. You have trust in them this year?
Yeah, it's finally. They have to this year. Like, it's their chance.
The Steelers.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Who you got, Pace? Super Bowl champion.
Steelers, 100%. Aaron Rodgers, new quarterback.
The Pittsburgh Steelers! Yeah!
It's Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes, indeed. May the best team win. You never know this time of year. We love our teams here at Gannon University, though, and we wish all of them good luck, the ones who have not competed yet and the ones who competed today and last week. Fall sports is in full swing, and by Monday, every single fall sport will have competed at least once on the campus and around the campus of Gannon University. So we're so excited to welcome them into another season. Our student athletes are why we do this. We love them, and we love being a part of their journey through their college life and college career. All right, busy episode next week. It's, of course, a homecoming-focused episode. You will see men's soccer on the show next week. You'll also hear from some men's soccer alumni, and we'll have a couple of live guests along the way to promote and support one more time the homecoming festivities on the campus of Gannon University. One more time, those homecoming festivities are going to be all weekend long. They're going to be Thursday, September 11th through Sunday, September 14th, culminating with that Centennial Mass that Jill Chiccarino-Beck was talking about earlier in the episode. So make sure that you stay tuned for all 4 days of our Centennial Celebrate homecoming celebration. All those details, you can see the website on the bottom of your screen, www.gannon.edu/homecoming. Also tonight, we announced the Golden Ticket Giveaway. If you didn't make our podcast tonight, you've got a lot more opportunities. If you attend a podcast in person and you show proof of purchase, you will get an entry each week that you attend into a drawing that will be drawn at the end of the year, and the winner will get a free year of basketball, men's and women's basketball and football season tickets for 2026-2027. So we're excited to announce that Golden Ticket Giveaway. Make sure that you be a part of our podcast and support what we do and what we love to do and give back to the student athletes just as much as they give life to sports on our campus. All right, join us next week. We're back right here at Pier 6 Rooftop Bar and Restaurant for one of 3 more shows here before we hit the month of October. Make sure to join us then, Thursday, September 11th at 6 o'clock. We'll see you then, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Make sure to be safe, enjoy the weather out there, and we'll see you all Thursday the 11th for more of the UKnighted podcast. Take care.